Well, in actual fact, the referee has made the decision to cut out the last 3 qualifying heats, and we've got 4 qualifiers for the final. Robbie Kessler, well, he has qualified. In fact, he's going to be riding a Frank Smart's machine. He's scored 7 points from his 3 completed rides, but that's enough to be fourth highest qualifier. Steve Masters, he's finished on 11 points, or in fact 11 points from 5 rides, but take one off. He finishes on 9 from 4, so he's a qualifier. So's Phil Morris, he finishes on 8. And Brent Werner, well, he's top scorer with 11 points. The other scorers, Chris Neath, well, he just misses out on 6 points. So does Michael Coles. Lawrence Hare on 5, let's hope he's okay. Frank Smart finishes on 5, so does Simon Stevens. David Howe, after that great win in his last ride, he finishes on 3, so does Scott Pegler. Jamie Smith finishes on 2. So as the vintage and classic riders wheel out their machinery, it's just left to one last race then, as the Mayor, Councillor Fred Sweeting, well, he's not going to keep those shoes as shiny as that, I don't think, with his lady wife. Having a few words there with Chris Neath, so he's just missed out on a place. There is Brian Woodward, he's giving the referee the qualifiers. Looked a bit too much for Krista Marsh, as Frank, well, very generous gesture by him to help out last year's winner, Robbie Kessler. And well, there are the trophies and bubbly on display. Who's going to take the title here this year as the rain continues to fall? The Mayor, well, he's just about keeping dry the riders. Well, they are out at the start line for the 2000 New Year Classic final. And this one, well, of course, it sees Robbie Kessler. He comes out in blue. Just look at the conditions. Well, that in fact was Brent Werner in blue. In yellow and black it is Phil Morris. In red it is Steve Masters. Here comes Robbie, mounted aboard Frank Smart's machine. And with the last race that Bob Radford will introduce here on an official basis, who retires after 30 years of officiating at meetings as an announcer. Been here 3 years, of course. And well, we wish Bob the best for the future. He's still going to write about Speedway as a journalist, but just taking things a little bit easier now. These riders, well, they most certainly will not be taking it easy in this, the final. So Masters off gate number 1, Werner off 2, Kessler off 3, Morris from the outside. Who's going to win the first meeting of the new millennium anywhere in Britain as the race, when it gets underway? Kessler's made a good start, but in fact, well, he's fallen, and the race, well, I think it's going to be stopped. Phil Morris, well, he's come through, or in fact he's trying to come through here, and on the inside of Steve Masters as the red flags and red lights come on. Morris, well, you can see, bitterly disappointed with that. The race, well, it has indeed been stopped. Robbie back to his feet. Let's see it again. And we'll take another look at this one as Robbie aboard strange machinery, of course, and when he just loses it there, exiting the second turn. The other riders managed to avoid him. And Phil Morris, well, did he come through in the first place, or had Steve Masters already seen the red lights were on? Rather debatable. A good move by Phil, but the race is going to have to be rerun. All 4 back in. And so the riders at the start line then. As the rerun gets underway, and out of the start, well, it is Steve Masters who's made a gate this time around, but Phil Morris has come through to lead the way. But Masters fighting back again on the inside. A good race this, the final. Is Masters going to be crowned the winner here this afternoon? But Morris, well, he comes back at Masters on the inside, and he retakes first place. Robbie Kessler in third. Brent Werner did not make a good start. He's at the back, but it is the Welshman who leads the way as Werner. Well, he attempts to find a way past Kessler, who's dropped it once more. A good race in the final, so we've seen some great racing here under the conditions this afternoon. The riders, well, they've given it their all. The fans, well, they've certainly enjoyed their speedway during this long holiday period for many of them as they come round to start the final lap then. And it looks as if Phil Morris is going to take the title as Brent Werner, well, he's worked his way through in the second place. Steve Masters back in third now, having made a good start. He could not hold on, but it is going to be Phil Morris, who's going to be a very popular winner indeed here this afternoon. Well done to him. Brent Werner in second place. Third spot goes to Steve, but it is Phil who's the winner, the 2000 New Year Classic winner, Phil Morris. And well, plenty of support for him, as you would expect, in his home country. He wins the final race then in a time of 64.81 seconds. Let's see how he did it again. And we can see once more Phil, well, he certainly deserved this title, as he came from the back into first place from off gate number 4, and when he was repassed by Steve Masters, and you thought Masters might have gone on to victory, but Phil, with an identical move that he had over Steve in the first stage of this race, coming back through in the first place. Brent Werner eventually coming through in the second, Robbie Kessler dropping it. That's the 1, 2, 3. And well, getting a good reception there from the crowd, as you can see. So Phil Morris it is, who is the winner here this afternoon, third highest qualifier. But plenty of supporters there. Brent Werner entertaining the crowd. And well, the presentations now from the mayor. Congratulations there from Steve.